Hello and welcome to another episode of Creeps, Creatures, and Haunts.
Oh my!
Today's episode, we're going to be kind of doing a little something different for the podcast. Since we're kind of in that halfway to Halloween stage, we're going to be talking about haunted houses, but not the normal kind, the attraction kind.
Yeah.
So, haunted attractions, I guess. We'll say that because it'll be more than just of the house variety.
Yeah.
If you just listen to this podcast and maybe you are unfamiliar with us, I guess, we do haunted house reviews through a show called Haunt Talk that is also on the channel. In fact, a lot of people kind of get confused and think that the channel is Haunt Talk. I have had people tell me that before. Like, well, you do this other stuff, but like your channel is called Haunt Talk. Like, the channel's not called Haunt Talk.
Yeah,
The
no.
channel is Spirit Light Productions is our YouTube channel. If you're listening to this in podcast form, it is the YouTube channel if you have not visited it. And we do many things, Haunt Talk being one of the things. Now, Haunt Talk is like the only thing we used to do consistently, but only, of course, during the fall months, because that's when haunted houses are open.
Yeah. And we just decided that, we need to broaden our range of what we were doing so that we could, fill out, the rest of the year, because, the Halloween season is only a couple of months each year, so we figured that's why we started doing, haunted adventures and creeps, creatures, and haunts and things like that, just to kind of things that we thought people would be interested in, especially if they were interested in haunted houses, they might be interested in, creepy, weird stuff.
Right, yeah, exactly. That's what in the name of this podcast, Creeps, Creatures, and Haunts, has haunts in it, and that can entail attractions. That was kind of the idea that it would cover that. There is also the idea of making Haunt Talk when, it is that time of year again, into podcast form. I've kind of ex-nayed on that idea a little bit just because it's a lot to upload. And I don't know if it necessarily fits this podcast's theme, just doing reviews of haunts. So I don't know if we're going to upload those as actual podcast form or not. But there'll definitely be plenty on YouTube this year of our reviews. If you would like it in podcast form, I guess let us know if that's something that's interest to you, because it's possible to do it. It's just basically the subscription that I do for the podcast only allows a certain amount of time unless I get the higher up subscription service, then I just basically have to pay more. But if people are actually interested in it, that would be fine, I guess. But I feel like more people just like watching the videos. And also something we plan on doing, and I just am lazy and need to get more around to it, is we have a lot of people that are interested in being interviewed that are in the haunted attraction industry.
Yeah. If you're interested in being interviewed by us and want to promote the haunt that you're part of, shoot us a message. We're looking for people to interview. We've already interviewed a few people. If you haven't watched them or listened to them, you can listen to them on our channels, of course. We've done Allison May, who's from Otherworld. She also worked at a few haunted houses as well. And, we've also done Maximus from...
He's like a haunt actor, but he also does a lot of stuff in the industry, correct?
Yeah, he works at the Dent Schoolhouse, and he's he's starting to get into doing other things in the haunt industry and stuff like that. So, if you're interested in talking to us, let us know.
Yeah, like I said, and if you're listening to this and you're someone that has reached out to us before, eventually we will contact you to do it. It's just... It's hard to schedule things, but we're working on it. We're working on trying to find stuff like that. Another thing that we don't really talk about on this too much is that we did do years ago now a documentary on haunted houses, which is free to watch. It's about 2 hours long too, so it's pretty in depth. It's on the YouTube channel, so it's completely free to watch. So if that's something that's interests you, you can click one of the links below. When I'm watching this back or editing this, I'll try and remember to put a link in the description itself of the video and the podcast. So if you're interested in the actual documentary, you can watch that. But in today's episode, we're basically going to be talking about kind of what we're looking forward to in the future, and and also kind of just talking in general, about haunted houses, what we like most about them, what we kind of grinds our gears a little bit, because we've been to so many now that there's definitely things that we really like, and there's definitely things that we really don't like.
Yes.
So I don't know how long this episode's going to be. It might be short. It might end up being super long because we didn't really script this one. We're just like, we're going to pick this topic. We're just going to talk about it.
Yeah, if you're watching the video form, this is our list.
Yeah, it was going to be longer. There's not many things on it, is what I just said.
What do we want to talk about? And this is as far as we got.
And we're like, you know what? That's probably fine.
And we're like, okay,
we can ramble on about that for probably a while. So we'll kind of see how that goes. So let's talk about, I think we'll just talk about first what we're looking forward to this year. So obviously, with 2020, we didn't get to go to as many places, just like everything else. It hampered it. I was happy that we got to go to at least a few.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually was surprised how many we did get to go to. I actually thought we were going to go to a lot less haunted houses last year just because of the whole situation that was going on. And I was actually really surprised that a lot of places were really like determined to open. And they're like, look, we're going to take these precautions. We're going to get you guys to have some fun because the beginning of the year was, basically a shit show.
It was.
And
it was definitely.
So they're like, you know what? You guys need a way to unwind and get your scare on. And so I was really impressed with how many haunted houses did try to open up and everything like that. And I was happy that we got to go to as many as we did last year.
Right. I don't remember exactly how many we went to. I think it was 10 or less. We didn't get to go to as many as we usually do.
Yeah.
Because again, a lot of them did close down and it was harder to travel further distances. And we're going to talk about this more in depth. We usually go to Halloween Horror Nights. Well, but usually we've been doing it for the last couple years. But of course, 2020 was canceled. So, and we didn't get to fly anywhere or anything like that. But I will say, I was pretty impressed with, like Kim said, the amount of places that were determined and, and even though it was kind of annoying, I'm sure, being in the industry and having to try and follow all these precautions. And again, we kind of talked about this a little bit with like Maximus, for example, kind of all the things that they already have to do, but then also trying to make sure people are socially distant, all the codes that haunted houses already have to do with fire and safety now also having to do the 6-foot stuff, to making sure people are wearing their masks, making sure that actors are staying their 6-foot distance, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, some of the houses handled it better than others. It was kind of like this. So, and we said in the reviews, if you watched it, if you were scared to go out, you shouldn't have been going to a haunted house in 2020 anyways. Yeah. So, I didn't really care that not all the places were following the protocols and stuff like that. But it was very weird. It was a very weird year to go it. And hopefully we never have to deal with something like that again. Because it was just really strange.
Nothing takes the scare out of something is when you see plexiglass or plastic hanging and you're like, oh, there's probably going to be someone behind there. And sure enough, that's where the scare happens. And it's like, it kind of takes the fun out of it because you're like, something's going to happen. There's plastic over there. So
it was just a difficult thing. And like I said, we were just grateful that we got to go to any, but it definitely, and like I said, some suffered more than others. For example, I feel like, I'm trying to think, which ones will we go to that were the most normal? Dent felt pretty normal, except for the fact that they had the second part closed. You did, just the slaughter yard, which is always the weaker part. Yeah. But it did suck that, they didn't have it. I guess they used it as a queue when they got really busy, which is another thing. We've talked about in other episodes, but 2020 was probably the busiest we've ever seen haunts, which is insane, right?
It's crazy.
You would actually think that it would be least busy, but not really, I guess, because everyone was, you were saying earlier, cooped up and they wanted to do something. And also I'm assuming it also had to do with capacity, not maybe being able to let as many people in at once and stuff, not being able to group people together.
Yeah.
Lines were horrifying. We did fast passes for everywhere we went.
I think so. Pretty much everyone that we went to, we were like, okay, let's pay the extra money because I don't want to stand in line for 2 hours.
Because for example, we went to Land of Illusion, which was pretty pricey, but it ended up being worth it because the cool thing about Land of Illusion, which I didn't actually realize, and I forget how much the tickets were, you can go watch the review if you really want to know more in depth, but if you buy the fast pass, you can go to all the haunts as many times as you want.
Yeah.
You can just keep going, and a lot of them were really fun. And one of the haunts was as long as a normal haunt. It wasn't like your normal haunt where you go and each one's 4 minutes or something. Most of these haunts were 10 to 15 minutes at least.
Each of them were long, and then the big one
was 30 minutes. The trail was huge.
My gosh, that one is huge. Mm-hmm. But yeah, each of the other haunts were at least 15, 20 minutes.
Oh yeah.
So it's you literally can spend an entire night there going through these haunted houses. And if you get the fast passes, I mean, you're in and out, and you could just keep going through them as many times you want.
And another cool thing about this place that 2020 did hamper because of the whole alcohol thing not having this was during the times in Ohio you couldn't serve alcohol after 10 o'clock, I think it was.
Yes, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like, it wasn't even that long ago, but it seems like this like weird thing that happened a while ago, but it was just a couple months ago, really now. But as of filming this, but you can just go up to their bar in that and just get alcohol and then go to the houses. They have these giant fire pits. They have performers. So like, it's really just a party. That if you get there, what you would want to do is you'd want to get there like earlier, get the fast passes, and then just do a haunted house party all night. And I think it's worth it if that's what you do. I guess that section just turned into a little mini review of that place.
Surprise!
But it was a good example of weird things in 2020. But that place is also one of the more normal ones, I feel like. Besides the alcohol thing, I didn't feel like anything was really changed. Like, there wasn't the plexiglass
They didn't have a lot of the plexiglass. They had the spacing out.
And they had the masks.
You had the masks.
Right. That was about it.
That was it. Like, because they're not really one of those ones that really gets, like, into your area kind of places. You know, how, like, if you go to, like, other haunts and they get, like, right up into you and stuff like that. This one really doesn't do all that much.
No. Well, the scares were... They had some really interesting scares, but it was more like Halloween Horror Night scares where it was, like, loud noises and stuff. Yeah, that scared. There's a drop ceiling. Again, watch the review. We'll move away from talking about that specific place, I guess, though. But one thing that I'm really looking forward to in 2021 is just not having all these regulations.
Yes.
Most states already have ended majority of mask mandates for the most part, so we should not be having to deal with that in 2021 when we go to these places in September, October. That really should be a thing that's gone pretty much by then, so that'll be nice. The 6-foot thing's gone, so haunted houses will be able to operate fairly normally. I am assuming that should be a thing. One thing I'm not looking forward to this year is I think that this year is going to be like last year on steroids as far as crowd levels.
Yeah,
because
I have a feeling it's going to be busy.
Same thing with vacations. There's going to be, and it's already starting, a huge boom.
Yeah.
Because you have to realize, like, last year was so busy, and this was just people that weren't too scared to go out. Now people that are vaccinated are not going to be scared to be going to the places, and they're really antsing. Those people that have really locked down are going to be really antsing to go somewhere. Yeah. And I think that this is going to be, and I mean, it's a good thing. Maybe not as a consumer, but if you're a haunted house owner, it's a great thing if it really is as busy as I'm predicting. Because you're going to make up your losses, probably plus some from what you lost last year.
Like, I highly recommend if you're a haunt owner and you're listening to this and you don't have a fast pass, you need to get a fast pass because you're going to rake in the dough.
Maybe even do 2 tiers of fast passes at some place. Kind of like how Mansfield does.
Yeah, because, they have the extreme...
I don't remember what they're called. I think there's like a lightning and an extreme or something.
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Lightning. Yeah. They have a regular fast pass and then they have the lightning fast pass. And lightning, they take you to the front of the line and you don't even wait a second. They're like, hey, come here, let's go.
And I'm glad we're talking about that too, because with the lightning, it usually includes something that they couldn't do in 2022, which is touch pass.
Ooh.
I love being touched.
Oh, yeah, he loves being slammed into mattresses.
Oh, I love the haunted houses that they just attack you and stuff. Now, I don't like the ones where they like force feed you and stuff like that. That's weird, but I like the ones where they do the contact because it's just scarier.
Nothing's funnier than watching your friend just disappear and you're like,
oh yeah, they just take you and stuff. Yeah,
like that werewolf took him down the hall.
And it's like, not for everyone, and that's why I like how Mansfield's been doing it, where it's like a glow in the dark necklace.
Yeah.
And you can just rip it off. It becomes too much for you, and then they have to leave you. Well, they'll still scare you, I guess, but they won't grab you anymore.
Yeah.
So that I'm super excited coming back because there's a few places that it really suffered from not having it. Mansfield because we got so used to it, suffered from it. I know there's that newer place, Terrortown, in by Kings of Cincinnati-ish area.
Yeah, we haven't been there yet.
No, we haven't been
go
there.
We heard that it's like...
They're pretty intense. They'll cover you in blood. They're known for just covering you in blood. Like, I don't think they don't do the force feeding and stuff, but they're really intense and they'll, like, cover you in blood and mess with you and stuff. So that'll be interesting if we make it to this year. I mean, I would like to.
That'll be a one night, one haunted house that night kind of thing.
Yeah,
where
we'll
we
have to make
bring change of clothes.
Yeah, well, I mean, we usually stay in a hotel when we do the Cincinnati thing anyways,
Yeah.
because, like, nothing's worse than going to a haunted house of the night than driving 4 hours home, and, not getting home till daylight, trying not to die.
Trying not to swerve off the road because your eyes are like, whoa.
Yeah, that's what happened to us when we went to PA a few years ago when we did the Bates Motel thing. We decided to feel the screams on the way home, and yeah, it was like
That was a
4 in the morning, heading back, and like I'm trying not to fall asleep. Kim's driving, trying not to fall asleep. That was fun.
Oh
So
my gosh, I pulled over to the side of the road so many times it was ridiculous. Like,
so if
I
you're
was just
listening,
like,
if you're listening to this and plan on going to a lot of haunts this year, like far away, make sure that you book a hotel somewhere.
yes, please be safe.
And also, it's always worth it to pay a little bit more for a nicer hotel.
Yes.
Because paying $50 more a night for a nice hotel is a lot cheaper than having to get things out of your home that you might bring home with you. And that's I'm not going to say the word, but yep. Anywho,
yeah.
but yeah, so I'm super looking forward to being ravaged again. I just love that.
Ravaged.
Yeah. No, we know we're going to Halloween Horror Nights. We'll talk about that in a minute, but we usually like to go to one other one that's kind of further away. Not sure where. We've kind of toyed around with the idea of maybe going to Headless Horseman in like Euless, New York, I think is where that's at.
Yeah.
We've toyed with that idea a little bit because it's far, but it's not like crazy far.
Yeah, it's a little bit further than Philadelphia. It's
Right.
probably like 10 hours instead of 8.
Because Orlando's like a 5-day vacation, but then we usually take like a little 2-day excursion, and then just come back type of thing. But yeah, Halloween Horror Nights this year, I mean, it's definitely going to be going on. They haven't really announced too much, but we are super excited to be going to Orlando again since we missed it last year.
Well, we already know some of the haunted houses because
Right.
they actually opened a couple of them last year to people who were actually going to the park just to go to the park.
So with Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice, Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, I forgot they did that one.
And the Tooth
Yeah,
Fairy.
the Tooth Fairy thing. And then they've also spoiled at the very beginning of the year. We don't know much about it, but they showed a little clip of it's like Master of Puppets or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like some kind of puppet theme.
Yeah. Which sounds really intriguing and kind of creepy.
No idea what the scare zones will be. That's completely unknown.
Yeah,
or
nobody
what the
really
shows
knows.
will be.
Yeah, because apparently they're not doing
Academy of Villains.
Academy of Villains because the guy likes to
Well, yeah. Yep.
harass his staff.
That's the rumor, yeah. But yeah, they're not doing Academy of
They're
Villains.
probably going to do the water show, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's kind of a show, but that's kind of a
thing,
thing you
but-
just walk up and see.
yeah.
But I'm really hoping, like, I don't really have. I know a lot of people want Bill and Ted. I unfortunately never really saw the show, like the live action show. So like, I don't really necessarily care if it's Bill and Ted, but there needs to be a show.
Yeah.
Something. They need to do something. I don't know where
they
they'll
need to
do it
do
exactly.
something.
If they'll do it at the Fear Factor stage or somewhere else, but. Yeah, I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping for some cool scare zones, and I really just want Universal to just go all out. And I think they will. I mean,
I
they
think
missed
so.
last
I
year.
mean, so many people were just so disappointed from last year because of this situation and everything. And I just think if this is going to be their anniversary, they need to just
right.
throw everything on the table and just be like, let's go. Let's just do everything, you know?
So I'm really excited for that. I'm not excited about all the money I'm sure it's going to cost just because Halloween Horror Nights not super cheap, and we like to do well. We got spoiled in 2019 we did the RIP tour.
Oh my gosh.
Which we will be doing again this year because I feel like this is a year that you want to do it even more because of the fact that I'm sure it is going to be really busy. If you want to do the RIP tour, or actually I should say, if you don't know what it is, basically, so they have the Fast Pass at Universal, and no prices have been released yet, but usually just a ticket at Horror Nights is like $80 a person.
Yeah.
And the Fast Pass, it varies on night to night, but all the Fast Pass does is let you get in a different line that's shorter.
Yeah.
Now the RIP tour, that's a completely different beast. Now when we went, we did a weeknight, and it was like the cheapest night it could be, and it was like $2 something a person.
Yeah.
200 and something a person. So it's,
200 and something.
plus you have to have your $80 ticket. So
Yeah.
this is not a cheap event.
No.
But is it worth it? Well, if you have the money, absolutely.
Yes.
10 haunted houses, which I'm assuming there will be at least 10 this year, if not more. It'll probably be 10. And, if you're only going for a couple nights, even if you're going for more than that, the RP tour is just really nice because they take you right to the front of the haunted house,
Yep.
and you go right in. They give you extra like history
Yeah, you get like a little bit behind the scenes kind of stuff. Like we actually got to see where they keep all the chainsaws.
Yeah. Saw some of the actors getting ready.
Yeah, we got to see some change outs of actors, and it was just really cool because we got like this little behind the scenes tour. We did get like front row with like the one show with the Academy of Villains. They sat us in a special area and we got to see the show. It was just really cool. And yeah, our guide was just adorable. And
Gene, right?
Gene,
yeah. It was
yeah.
Oh,
And he gave us a lot of little in-depth information and little behind-the-scenes tidbits and stuff like that. And it was just really fantastic. And it's so worth the money.
It really is. Now, I mean, it is a lot. So, I mean, it's perfectly understandable if it's something that you just can't add on to the expense already.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend at least doing a fast pass if you're trying to get it done. That's a lot cheaper. I think the fast passes, and I could be very wrong, but I think they start at 40 on certain nights.
I think so.
I think that's where they start, and in my opinion, if that is the price that they are on certain nights, definitely worth it. You know, there's a whole bunch of strategy, and I think we might even do an episode all on Halloween Horror Nights later on, because I know a lot of tricks and tips, not even from being there so many times, but just I watch a lot of videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One of the cool thing about the RIP tour we didn't say, though, is you do get you get special like little rest areas that the general public's not allowed in. Special like areas, like they take you to certain bars. So like we got to go to like a rooftop bar that was in like the Jimmy Fallon studio.
Yeah.
That was cool. So like, and most people, you don't usually ever get to go there. I don't know what it's usually used for, but it's like an exclusive bar that we got to go into. It's just, it makes you feel bougie and special.
Yes.
So
like I felt very VIP. I felt very celebrity.
Right. No, that doesn't mean that it's not tiring as shit though, because you still walk so much, and the tour is only like 2.5 hours long. You do so much walking, because if you've never been to Halloween Horror Nights before, and if you plan on going, know that you're going to walk so much, because a lot of these houses are outside of the park, and the queue lines just to walk zigzag so much, and there's usually not even people through half of it or more.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're walking like almost half a mile to some of these houses. It's
because the houses are all in those studios, which are on the outskirts of where the actual amusement park.
So some of them are kind of a walk to get to alone.
Yeah.
Let alone the zigzagging queue you got to go through. 'Cause you
gosh.
can't really skip through the queue like you can at some places. So know that.
Yeah, no, not at all.
But yeah, Horror Nights is cool. I think we also want to go to Mortem Manor when we're
Yeah.
there. So that'll be fun. Yeah. So that's cool. I think also this year, not really necessarily haunted houses, but we keep saying we're going to do this, so hopefully we do it soon, as we want to go to escape rooms.
Yes.
We want to try some of them. I have a person that's been wanting, a friend that has been wanting me to come to their escape room, and we plan on hoping to do that soon. We haven't went to any of them yet, but there's a few that I know like we want to try out, and they're very haunted house oriented. Most of them have like spooky themes, not necessarily the actors jumping out and scaring you, but
Yeah, like I mean, they're just like sets, like in a haunted house, and you have to, it's basically a giant puzzle, and
right.
It just seems like a lot of fun. We were gonna try to do it last year during the summer, and of course, last year, and
Yeah.
so we're gonna try to do it this year.
Yeah, we're definitely going to try. I mean, we'll do at least a couple of them. So hopefully that's something that people like. We don't know what we're going to call the series yet. Probably like Josh and Kim Escape or something silly like that, because But I think that will be something that if people are interested in the Haunt Talk stuff, that they might also be interested in the escape room reviews, because they are in like the same family.
Yeah.
I would say that.
Yeah.
But that about covers everything I think that we're kind of like looking forward to in 2021. Maybe not, but that's a lot of it. I'm excited to go to haunted houses without all kinds of restrictions, and a lot of our favorites were closed last year, so it'd be nice to be able to go to some of them. And we'll have future videos talking about when we know more where we plan on going, probably talking about where we plan on going. Mm-hmm. And if you are a haunt owner or even just a listener, let us know where you'd like to see us go.
Yes.
Or if you're a haunt owner, invite us. Like, hey, I have a haunt, you should come check it out. We have people message us fairly often, actually, that are haunt owners. Because Haunt Talk is probably our most popular thing that we do. Because, like, for the 5 people that watch this, they'll usually get at least a couple hundred views. Anywho, so yeah, now we're just going to kind of talk about, like, some of our favorite and least favorite things about, like, haunted houses, things we've seen, things that we don't like. We'll start with things that I want to see. Oh, shit. I dropped my pen. I need my pen. Okay. So we're going to talk about things that, I guess I kind of want to see more of, maybe less of. So let's see if you can guess this. What's something that you think I would like to see less of in haunted houses, Kim?
Shocking thing.
Well, okay, that's good, but no. You're close though. I'm not thinking shocking things because not many places, thank God, to do that. What's something that always annoys me?
Oh. But I enjoy them very much.
What?
The air poofy things.
I don't like them. I think that they're overused, and they're just they take up the same thing as So we're talking about claustrophobia tunnels, aka vagina rooms, where you basically just I think it was Factory of Terror. An actor literally told us get in the vagina, and then they get in the vagina.
Yeah, get in the vagina.
Anyways, I think that they're overused, and here's the thing I really don't like about them is they take up space in the haunted house that could be a scene.
Yeah.
They are kind of spacious. Now, I like the half ones, like for the swamp areas.
Yeah.
I like the half ones because I still get to see everything, and I'm like, it's kind of like a little obstacle thing.
Dent had a really good one with the body parts on top of it.
Doing something creative like that with it, but like just a full claustrophobia room, you're just pushing your way through blowing up black bags. I get that years ago, it was newer. Like, I remember when I first went from, I'm like, this is freaky, but now I'm just like, okay. Now I get to push my way through a gross static bag that hundreds of other people have pushed their way through, which, coronavirus or not.
I know. Like, how do you
It's
clean
gross.
that?
I don't think they do very well. They probably had to start doing it last year, but I'm hoping that we kind of get that out of last year, that a lot of places maybe are like, you know what, let's not use this anymore because maybe they uninstalled them because of that. That might be one good thing we got. Yeah, claustrophobia bags, not a big fan. What's something that you would like to not see in haunted houses? What's something that grinds your gears that you would like to hopefully see less of going forward?
Anything that shocks me.
Yeah, well, but yeah, shock bags are awful and I hate them.
I hate them.
They're the worst thing. Now, that actually, oh, God.
These girls hate them.
I hate being shocked. It freaks me out so bad. I mean, I guess it does scare me, so it's effective, but, ugh. Let's make sure we take Dustin places and make him lead. He can be electrocuted, not us. I mean, it actually brings me to the thing we kind of forgot to mention in the things we're maybe looking forward to, is, if you've been a fan of, if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you probably would have saw a review for The Haunted Hoorah, which they had an infamous, they had an infamous section in this haunt where it was just a long, complete pitch black hallway and randomly out from the walls were shock bags. So you're just walking in pitch darkness, you'd randomly get electrocuted. Couldn't even see anything. It's one of the worst experiences I think we've ever had. Maybe, when I say worst, I don't necessarily mean it as like a downfall because we love the attraction, but it was just horrifying.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay, so I led because you're actually supposed to go through this hallway by yourself. And I was like, I'm waiting for him. So I wait for him to get through the door and he hooks onto the back of me and I walk through. And of course I hit one of the first bags and I'm like, ow. And then a few seconds later he goes, ow, because it runs through you.
Well, we were wet.
We were wet.
It was raining that night.
And we were holding each other like this.
Yeah,
so it was going through.
I could feel it, yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, it was awful. And like I'm a plus size girl and I have boobs. They kept getting shocked. So then I'm walking through this thing like this, trying not to get shocked.
Yeah,
it's hitting my arms.
Can't see anything.
Can't see
Pitch
anything.
black.
Trying to like steer away from these walls that are shocking me. That didn't work.
Right.
It was awful.
But thing is, though, is this haunt unfortunately had some stuff happen where they had to close. Well, they found the new location. They were going to open last year, but then they were like, no, we're not, because obviously it would have been a bad year to have your first year in your new location. So now they are opening this year. And through some teasers they've released, we're pretty sure there's going to be a section like this again, which I really want to go to the place.
Yeah.
But, like, man, we'd have to make someone else come with us to bleed because I do not want... Maybe they'll find a way to, like, make it so you can't. They'll just, like, have knowing some of the terrible things, I would highly recommend going back and listening to our review on it. If you want a haunt that's really intense, this place was just ridiculous. And I'm not going to go into all the stuff they did because, Jesus. But I could see this place doing a thing where they, like, just, like, close you in a room with just shock bags or something. Like, it's like you have to get shocked to leave a place. Like, so, stop using shock bags. Shame on you. And I'm also going to say, get rid of vortex tunnels, too. I'm lumping that into the claustrophobia thing. I think they're overrated.
Unless
They-
you're a hay wagon. I do like
Oh,
driving
that's
through a hay wagon.
Yeah, that's
But
cool.
yeah, they're kind of overdone. And I mean, they don't. I know that some people get dizzy in them and stuff. We just go right through
Right.
them,
I
and
mean,
it just doesn't even phase us
And
anymore.
those things take a ton of room up.
Oh yeah,
They're big.
It's like a couple of rooms at least.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you got the tunnel, but then you also got the apparatus that moves
Mm-hmm.
it, and they can't let people close to that, obviously, on the
Yeah,
outside.
yeah.
So yeah, get rid of those things. Don't like those. Some things I would actually like to see more of is I would like to see more haunted hay rides.
Yes.
Now, I understand why there's not a lot of haunted hay rides because haunted houses are expensive. Haunted trails are expensive. Haunted hay rides are ridiculous for the upkeep.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you're doing a haunted hayride, it's much harder to, like, scare people. Well, at least it seems like places don't understand how to scare people on them, I should say that. But you kind of want more elaborate scenes, and that's where their money gets. I mean, because it's outside, so you have to,
Yeah.
like, make sure that the stuff's, like, weatherproof to not get destroyed in the rain. Also, it sucks when you're doing a trail or a haunted hayride, because if it does rain or storm, you have to close.
Right.
So if you have, like, we've had Octobers where it rains almost every weekend, and then you're just not making money.
Ugh.
So it's not a super safe venture, but God, I love haunted hay rides.
Yeah.
Something fun just about riding around on a fall night and through the
Yeah.
middle of the woods. And yeah.
I mean, we live in Ohio, and we're known for cornfields. You'd think we'd have more
Right.
hay rides. We don't.
Or like the one place that we went, perfect opportunity to make a good haunted hay ride because it was a hay ride, the Beacon.
Yeah.
But they only had like 1 or 2 actors, no scenes. It was just the maze, and it's like, put some
like
scenes
there's
in
so
there.
much potential to just
Yeah.
have a spooky hayride on your way to the cornfield, maze. It would have been
Right.
perfect. And yeah, I enjoyed, like, they did have like a couple of scare actors out there, but it was like we were just anticipating, and we're just like, oh my god, this has so much potential. Like, do it.
Yeah, so
Please.
we really like
We'll come
like
back.
haunted hay rides. That's one of our favorite things.
Yes.
What's something that you like that you would like to see more of, Kim, that you've seen before but you would like to see more places incorporate?
I like the ones that have really unique things. Like, you've heard us talk about, like, Wells Township has a big frickin' slide. The penitentiary, Moundsville
Yeah.
has the boat and the coffin ride.
Well, yeah.
I like really unique, odd things like that.
Yeah, and it's like you don't even have to go crazy big budget with it. Just do something unique. Like
Yeah.
every place has, like a haunted house scene. Like your traditional haunted house, and every place has like things like the claustrophobia tunnels, like we were talking about. But just like try, something different. You know, make it weird. People like weird stuff. Like And, I mean, you can have your traditional stuff, but yeah, sprinkle in a little bit of your own originality.
Yeah, like, I mean, I like that. If you have like this weird idea in your mind and you're like, I don't think people would understand it, try it. See if
Try
it
it.
works. Like,
If it's freaky and it's scary, people will like it,
Yeah, I
and,
mean, nothing's more terrifying than being put into a coffin and then getting pushed down like a little ramp, like a little mini roller coaster, and people banging on you, and you're pitch dark, and you're just like, oh my god, like
Yeah.
it's scary. And I like that. I like just
I'm hoping
the
they bring that back.
weird. Yeah, they didn't do it last year, obviously,
Right.
because of reasons. But yeah, I like the unique, weird stuff. As long as it doesn't shock me,
right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, as long as it's unique in a non-electrocution way.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see alien-themed things.
Yes.
Why does I've seen so little.
Oh my gosh.
Aliens are so scary. Just do like an alien theme, like a spaceship.
Yeah.
Like an alien abduction haunted house.
1 year, 100 Acre Manor had a room that was the room that kind of went like this, where you had to kind of hold on to
well,
the
they
bars.
they pretty much always had that room, but they did like a small alien. But even that was the
Yeah.
smallest, I think, of all the sections.
Yeah.
And it's just like, do more alien stuff. I want to see alien stuff. Come on, maybe
Yes.
Universal. Oh, that'd be amazing if they had because when they announce like a house that's like alien themed, like just want aliens,
Man, that would be so cool.
some kind of alien thing. Give me aliens, damn it. Yeah, the hell. Something else that I'm kind of indifferent on that I've been seeing a lot of haunted houses start to do is having bars. Like, This has been a thing
Yeah.
that, like, I've only ever nearly noticed a problem a couple of the places we went to. Yeah. I'm not even going to talk about the instances, but we've had a couple. But I mean, like, it's kind of weird because, like, I like the idea. Like, Factory of Terror is a really interesting take on it. So, Factory of Terror has multiple haunted houses, but you go through them linearly. So, like, you can't choose which ones to go to.
Yeah.
You go through one, you're done, you go and stand in line for the next. Well, halfway through about, they have just a bar. And it's like New Orleans themed, and you can go, there's photo ops, you can go to get cocktails. It's a really weird setup because it's like, you can't return to it.
Yeah, no, you can't get back to it.
You can, like, sit there and, like, drink, and then you continue your haunted house adventure, but you can't, like, it's really odd to me how it's set up. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
now it's time to get drunk if you'd like to, and then after you're done getting drunk, then you can finish the haunted house. It's really strange, because Akron Haunted, yeah, it's weird. Akron Haunted Schoolhouse does it as well, but they just have, like, an outside section where you can go.
Yeah, they have a midway.
Right.
They just, a couple of years ago, they started that.
Yeah.
Once Factory bought them, they started the midway where you can get snacks and booze and things like that.
Right, and, like, special cocktails. I've also seen
Yeah.
places they do, like, the shots, like, literally, like, they're shots, but they're in, like, a, like, syringe.
Syringe, yeah.
You can, like, squirt into your mouth because it's themed, you know. And of course, as we said before, the Land of Illusion, they have it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the theme parks, like, I mean, even Halloween Horror Nights is very, like, they have, like, those stands with, like, fancy glowy cups.
They have like a ton of stands all over the place that you can get themed drinks and stuff like that.
And I mean, it's smart to do because people will pay a premium for alcohol when they're doing, because, like, when you go to haunted houses, it's kind of like having a little party. And not everyone goes to 100 of them like we do, you know. Like, well, most people do, like, 2 to 3 a year at most, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So, like, when you go, it's kind of nice if you have the option, and I like it. It does suck when people have too much and get rowdy and start to ruin the experience, but, like, it's really hard to control that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You know, I mean, most of these places do have security guards or police officers on site that are at least serving the alcohol. Most haunted houses have that in general, at least one on premises. So, like, I like that idea. I mean, Halloween Horror Nights is different, but, like, when we go to haunted houses, generally I feel like we don't drink at them.
No, really, we don't. Because we know
because we go to so many at
yeah,
night.
yeah, we usually are going to, like, at least a couple, if not more, each night. So it's like, depending on who's driving
Yeah.
and stuff, we really don't want to get drunk or, you know, drink at all because
Right.
we're going to all these different places, we're going far away, things like that. So it's kind of like, you know, do we want to risk it? Do we want to try it? I mean, like, I might try it if it's like a cool themed drink.
Right,
Maybe we'll share it
exactly.
or something like that. But
That's why we like going to the theme park ones, though, because
Yeah.
we're there all day. Like, Kings Island is a fun one because they always have, like, the themed drinks. Kings Island's haunted houses aren't very good.
they're all fun.
But, you know,
Cedar
well, when
Point
we went,
is-
Cedar Point. Oh, Cedar Point's a lot of fun. I'm hoping, I'm excited to go
Ooh,
back to Cedar
yeah.
Point this year. But they, we didn't really drink much when we went there. For Cedar Point's one though, Cedar Point gets
No.
really busy. And Cedar Point's fast passes for their haunted houses suck. It's very expensive, and
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Cedar Point doesn't handle it well. But their haunted houses are really good for theme park haunted houses. Like, they're not obviously as good as, like, something like Halloween Horror Nights per se, but their scare zones are better.
Oh my gosh. Like, I honestly, I'll say this again, and I said it in the review. I had very low expectations when we went to Cedar Point because I had never been there before.
I had been there, but it had been a long
he had
time.
been there,
It had been quite a while.
Yeah, and I had very low expectations because I'm like, it's an amusement park. They're not going to be good. And I was blown away.
Their scare zones are ridiculous. if you
Oh
haven't
my
been to
god,
Cedar
their
Point.
scare zones were awesome.
They're
I was just shocked.
Most of the scare zones, they're not even really scare zones. They're like a haunted trail that you don't wait in line for.
Yeah,
and
you
they're just
just
filled
go
with fog.
through.
There's people
Yeah,
on
you
bungee
just
cords
keep
attacking
going.
you. People
Yeah.
with bats hitting things and just scaring the
Oh my
crap out of you.
gosh. Yeah, that pirate one, that whatever
Yeah.
that one was. Oh my gosh, that
And then
one
the-
was scary.
And the Bayou one was
the Bayou
too.
one too.
That got me a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I think the scare zones are scarier than the houses. The houses are very elaborate and cool though. But the scare zones I think were even better than the houses.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. We'll put that into the before part. I'm excited to go back to Cedar Point this year since that was
Yeah.
not a thing last year. But I didn't get to go to Cedar Point, but we did do Kings Island. Since they couldn't do that, they did like a fall fest.
Yeah.
And that's going to be on the like list, and something I hope to see move forward is the fall fest, but then just the haunted houses at night.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, they still do kind of folly stuff, like, for kids in the day, but before there was never, like this year, if you're unaware of what, like, Kings Island and a lot of the Cedar Fair parks, like Cedar Point did, is, it's kind of like a food and wine festival.
Yeah.
They have a whole bunch of different drinks, and, like, you'd get a tasting card. You pay, like, I think it was, like, $30, and you have so many tastings. You go to your different stations, and they give you a sample. So me and Kim would each get one, and then she would get one, and we'd share it. I would get one, and we'd share it. So we got to taste a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So throughout the day, we really didn't ever sit down and have a meal. We just would go, okay, we're hungry, go get a snack. Oh, we'll go get this drink. And a lot of the stuff was really good, like the poutine fries we got at Kings Island were amazing.
Gosh.
Way better than you would expect theme park food to be.
And the drinks were really good. They were really strange, and like some of the stuff was kind of, but like that one cupcake was kind of meh.
Yeah, some of the stuff wasn't great,
But,
but
like,
the majority of it, most of the hot food stuff we got was really good.
Most of the savory stuff, yeah, most of the savory stuff was really, really good.
The hot chocolate we got was really good, too. That hot chocolate. I forget the name of the place that they're serving it.
Yeah.
It's on the Main Street thing. But yeah, it was really good hot chocolate. It's a tiny little cup. I wanted more. It was busy, though. We had to wait in line for food a lot. But yeah, so I really hope that that's a thing that they bring back. They still do the haunted houses, but in the day, they do the food festival thing as well.
My only complaint is that they need to just do like a food truck or something with that food in it, because they had them inside already existing restaurants and cafes and stuff. And so it was just kind of like congested and confusing.
Yeah, it was. Well, at least it's like Kings Island did. Now, Cedar Point, I don't know now. For example, Cedar Point, which we plan on doing this here soon, they have the Frontier Festival, which are like separate things where you go to get your barbecue.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice if they could do that. But I also think that it was I don't think that the parks had initially planned on doing anything, but they're like, we want to do something to bring in the crowds, and bring in the crowds it did.
Yeah, I think they were just kind of like,
houses.
well, we can't do haunted houses, so let's do this instead. It's not going to bring as many people, at least they thought. And
They brought a lot.
oh my gosh, it was so many sticky children.
But I mean, the fault they always bring a lot of people, because the bad thing about like Cedar Point, Kings Island, and those type of places, it's not like Halloween Horror Nights. It's just the weekends.
Yeah.
So if you want to go, there's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, which Sundays kind of suck because like they only do the haunted houses till like 7 or 8 or something like that, and they start early, so it's in the daytime when you're doing it, and they don't do scare zones because it's not open late.
Yeah.
So Sundays is a terrible day to go.
Yeah.
So you really want to go on Friday or Saturday, which also means you're going to be around a bazillion people, and again, this year it's probably going to be bad. Like, it's probably going to be horrific. So my recommendation is go like the first or second weekend.
Yeah.
Because that's always in the least busy, because you know, a lot of people aren't really in the Halloween mood in September, and that's when most of these places start. So I'm hoping, and maybe we'll get lucky, because like Halloween Horror Nights, for example, is starting like I think the second weekend of September is when they're
like
starting.
The first week. It's
ridiculously
right away.
early.
It's like,
so
yeah.
we're going pretty early on as well. So hope that
Yeah.
kind of avoids the crowds. But hopefully that Cedar Point and that do it too.
Yeah.
And we can go like early. I don't know if we'll do Kings Island this year, because Kings Island, like I said, we did it last year because of the food festival, but their haunted houses were really bad. And from what I heard from like comments and other people messaging me when we did that review, was it's always bad. But Cedar Point is pretty much always good now.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to do Cedar Point, since we didn't get to do Cedar Point at all last fall.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the nice thing too, is if you had a pass last year, your pass will be good this year as well. But yeah, we were really talking about a lot of stuff here for a while. And we plan on, I'm sure, doing more episodes in the coming months, now that we're getting closer and closer to that Halloween season, to kind of hype ourselves and you up, because I'm very excited for the season, because last season, again, we didn't get to do all that much. I mean, 2 of the haunted houses we did the reviews for last year, I mean, they were year-round ones in Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
One was pretty good, one was not good. Yeah, you can go watch those to find out which one is good and which one is bad. But yeah, so I'm excited just to go to haunted houses, and I'm sure we're gonna do more than we even probably should. But
We're probably gonna need a vacation after.
we're gonna need a vacation from our vacations. Yeah,
a spa day. Maybe we'll do a spa day after.
yeah, it can get to be a lot, all the driving around, and it also is very
driving.
expensive.
Very expensive. Walking, so much walking. But
Yeah.
you know.
But yeah, and again, you know, and like we said at the beginning of the video, if you own a haunt or have a haunt recommendation, let us know.
Yes.
Now, obviously, it's more likely we'll go to it if it's in Ohio or in PA, like northeast, south, like Western PA. Yeah, like Western PA.
Western PA.
That's closer to like Pittsburgh
us.
area, that type of thing. That's very likely that we'll go to. Oh, I'm excited to go to 100 Acre Manor because we didn't get to do that last year either.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, recommend stuff to us. Give us all the recommendations you can. If we can't, we like to keep things like that in a list form. I have like in my notes, so that way, even if we can't do it this year, maybe 2022 type of thing, But right now, we don't have anything specifically besides Halloween Horror Nights that we're for sure going to at the moment. We don't have a list made, so now's a great time. And like I said, you can, if you're listening to this, there's links to our Facebook. You can message us. You can go on the video and comment. Email us through the website, however you want to contact us, that's perfectly fine. Or if you're a haunt owner and would like to invite us to your place, we can do that as well. You just keep in mind, obviously, our reviews are honest. We don't do it biased at all, even if someone does. Because once in a while, people will, let us in, basically, and just give us tickets. That never affects the review. If the place isn't good, it's not good. But, we don't really ever look to put a haunted house down. The purpose of our reviews is to tell you things you can improve on or things that you should keep, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Because when we grade everything based on what they are, we're not going to grade, and we've mentioned this before many times, we're not going to grade someplace like the Haunted Hoochie, for example, that has been around forever and has all of the money to put into it to the same as like a nonprofit haunted house or something.
Yeah.
You can have all the animatronics in the world and be great, or you can have all the animatronics in the world and be bad because that's what you're relying on.
Right.
What we look for is, the passion, and just what are you doing? So don't worry if you don't think your haunted house is good enough, you know what I mean?
You'd be surprised.
You would be surprised. A lot of people, I think, it's the same thing with any art form. People think that
bigger is better.
Bigger is better, that, and just, they always are their own worst critic type of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that, that, like I said, just let us know if you'd like us to come to your haunt, because we would probably more than likely love to come to it. Same with escape rooms. If you have an escape room you know about or anything, let us know about that too. But that does it for this episode. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a rating on the podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Ring the bell so you don't miss any of our videos, because we do a lot more now. And we will see you all in the next episode.
Bye.
No!